Is the W113 too expensive to restore? When you're doing a restoration of a Mercedes, it's not the big things that kill you, it's the little things. And when I initially started working on 113s and I didn't know as much about the cars or understand as much about the cars, life was easy. You just sort of explain things like bad window gaps and doors that didn't shut properly as part of the price of having an old car. And if somebody complained that their grill didn't fit very well, you just said, well, I don't know what to tell you. It's a 50-year-old sports car. But when you have customers that come to you and they want these items corrected and they want other things done, like maybe an engine rebuild or, I don't know, a complete rear axle refurbishment, or their heater levers replaced, or their instruments rebuilt, or their clock, maybe their clock face cleaned up, or their windshield and glass and chrome trim redone. Suddenly things start to get a little scary. And one of the things that I've learned about 113s, the W113 lies in this really weird economic zone where it is perceived as a valuable car. And for the most part is out of the grasp of affordability of most people. But on the other hand, the cars need so much that they will rapidly eat through their commercial value margin if you really start trying to address their needs. And this is complicated by the nuances of the 113 market. For example, there is not a huge financial upside to restoring an automatic 230 SL. Yet the automatic 230 SL, due to its less refined bottom end and the scarcer engine parts and the sort of proprietary nature of its injection pump, where it's technically half of a mechanical governor late pump and half of a 300 SL or 300 add-an-hour early pump, you really can't just say to yourself, oh, this is a 230 SL, well, I'll just rebuild the engine and put it back together. Often these cars have serious block and crankshaft and camshaft and cylinder head wear issues. So conversely, the 230 engine becomes a lot more costly to repair than a 280 engine. But just in case you were thinking about putting a 280 engine in your 230, don't worry, those are really expensive as well. So it's like varying degrees of financial hardship that you're going to encounter. Now, when we restore a 113, or maybe not even restore, maybe the word is rehabilitate a 113, the work goes in two categories. There are the major repairs, which include things like an engine rebuild, a transmission rebuild, a rear axle rebuild, a steering box rebuild, a front subframe rebuild, rebuilding the window mechanisms in the doors, an AC rebuild, braking system rebuild, yellow zinc plating, the whole engine compartment so everything looks good, or at least the stuff on the engine, a cooling system rebuild with the radiator. These are all plannable, predictable costs. The issues become more complex, though, when you start looking at the other items that 113s need. For example, about 75% of 113s were crashed and repaired poorly. So when you pull the engine out, that's when you start looking for that old crash damage and you think about repairing it. Also, when you start looking at things like the instruments and say, oh, these need to be rebuilt or reconditioned. If you want to get your instruments restored at Palo Alto Speedometer, it's not $1,000. It's $4,000 to $6,000. It's a lot of money. That's a whole 300D. a good one. You know, a 300,000 mile, runs for the next 25 years, Manila beige, 300D with not too much wear and tear. And then you start looking at the other things that go wrong on 113s. The soft top needs to be redone. The soft top compartment doesn't close. The car doesn't start well when it's hot. The car doesn't downshift well. The steering lock feels a little loose to me. The interior dome light doesn't work. The windows don't quite close all the way, and the doors feel like they're misaligned when you open and close them. The chrome side moldings in the car were riveted on instead of screwed on. The headlights don't quite fit like they're supposed to, and one of the bezels is cracked, and now we need a good used one. The firewall pad doesn't really hold up to the rest of the car now that you've redone the engine compartment. The, what else? The electric fuel pump gives out after you drive it for 40 or 50 miles. The 113 looks like this cute, innocent car where you can plan for all the restoration costs. Because everybody restores these, right? You can even go to a non-Mercedes shop and get them restored, I think. But then when you start trying to make the car into a good car, the hours really start adding up. And it's for that reason now that anytime a 113 comes in, I start to get really scared and really nervous, because I always want the car to be perfect. But the cost and the time associated with making it perfect usually end up with us doing a lot of free work. When I say a lot of free work, it doesn't end up being 10 hours. That's whatever. That's a day in the shop. Or 20 hours. Or 40 hours. On average, a 113, because the owners don't want to pay for the last 20%, ends up consuming an extra 60 to 80 hours of unpayable or unchargeable labor. Because how do you explain to somebody, it took me 3 or 4 attempts at 1 hour each to set up your starting valve in the back of the pump? You know what the customer is going to say? They're going to look at me and say, "You're an idiot. Didn't I get that pump rebuilt? I just spent $2,500 on an injection pump rebuild." So you call up the pump shop, and you know what the pump shop says? "We know everything about these. You're an idiot." What? You shouldn't be working on these things. So we're left having to calibrate the pump mixture and the cold idle speed and the starting solenoid. And these things don't take 3 hours. At the end of the day, and you're all done and the mixture's perfect, the car starts like it's supposed to. 8 hours, 10 hours, flush down the toilet. You know, and that's not even half of it. Let's say the soft top lid doesn't close. You know, there's another hour and a half getting that thing to function like it's supposed to. Let's say the top frame has to be lined up when you do the windows. Oh yeah, sure, you'd love to charge the 2.5 hours to that, but really all you're going to get paid for is 3/4 of an hour. I don't know if any of you have any ideas about what I should do. I mean, I feel like it's unrealistic for me to charge somebody $75,000 to sort out a 113, but that's the path we're headed down. And in all fairness, I don't know what the other path is, because I can't keep doing it for free. You know, it's rough. It's very rough. Anyway, if you guys found this video to be interesting or informative, please let me know. Think about subscribing to the channel. And if you're going to buy a 113, just remember that it's going to cost you double, and it's probably been in an accident, and it probably needs an engine rebuild and a rear axle rebuild, and it could still be the nicest one in the world with the best paint and the best interior. So keep that in mind. We'll see you in the future. All my 113 owners, I really love you guys. I'm sorry I have to make a video like this, but it's not easy for me sometimes. All I want is the best for everyone.